Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about she doesn't deserve what I am. Okay? So let's get into what you do deserve, right? So what you deserve is to find someone that loves you and you love them, that you're attracted to and they're attracted to you. That's what you deserve to find. That's the kind of relationship you deserve to have, where it's reciprocated 100%, right? So this woman in question then, she also deserves the same, right? She also deserves to find someone that loves her in the same way that she loves them, and someone that she's attracted to and they're attracted to her back. So she deserves the same thing as you, okay? But the thing is that you probably don't deserve each other. So either you really, really wanted her, you really liked her, you really loved her, but she ended things or she rejected you, then that's not someone that you deserve, right? There's just a mismatch there, right? There's an incompatibility issue there, right? So obviously there could have been a few things that you could have done to have prevented her from not liking you as much, or whatever happened, right? There may have been a few things that you did or didn't do that maybe, because especially if she did at one point feel really attracted to you and you felt that, like let's say you were together for 5 years and everything was fine, and then suddenly things started, going bad, right? Now, I'm not saying it's entirely your fault, because it probably isn't. I'm sure there may have been a few things that she did too. But I'm sure if you look back on the relationship, if you look back with a little bit of humility, let's say, you'll be able to tell that there are perhaps a few things that perhaps you messed up here and there, right? You may not have been 100% responsible. In fact, she may have been mostly responsible, but you're still responsible for whatever percentage that you contributed to the ending of whatever happened with this woman. You're still a little bit responsible. So you always take responsibility for your side, because that's the only thing that you can control. So, for example, let's say you became too needy. If that's the case, then that's something that you need to work on. You have a knowledge gap there, because you don't want to fall into the same trap if, let's say, she comes back into your life and you get back together, or you find someone better, right? And that's a great way of looking at situations, especially when a situation where you've been dumped. You're either going to get back with her, or you're just going to find someone better, right? And having that kind of let it go sort of attitude, where you're not feeling as intense toward it. Sometimes saying that to yourself, like, okay, she's either going to come back or I'm going to find someone better. It makes you, at least it's a very calming idea, if you think that way and you say that kind of thing to yourself. But with that being said, you got to look back on what you possibly could have done wrong and fill in your knowledge gaps, because like I said, you don't want to fall back into the same trap. You don't want to do the same thing again. So figure out, perhaps that's for an example, let's say it was neediness, then maybe getting a book like Models by Mark Manson, because he kind of coined a word called non-neediness, and he goes into that a lot in depth in the book Models, right? So I highly recommend that you go and check that out so you can figure out non-neediness and how not to be needy, basically, because that does put a lot of people off. Not just men, it can put and women. It can put everybody off, basically. If you come across someone that's way too needy and you're not quite at that level yet, or maybe neediness just repels you in general. But perhaps you weren't great at communicating. Perhaps you didn't understand her. Perhaps you didn't understand the female brain. Well, if that's the case, then getting a book like Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus by John Gray will definitely help you understand a female brain, okay? So if you want to get good at knowing women and how to communicate with them, that's a really good book that I recommend that you read. Also, The Way of the Superior Man by David Dada is quite a good one as well. Okay, so she may have had flaws, but so do you. You can't help her flaws. You can't change her flaws. Maybe she's not even willing to change her flaws, but you can change yours, even if you only have a few, right? So yeah, figuring out what you need to improve is crucial, right? So the next thing I want to get into is building your self-esteem in a healthy way. So you don't want to become angry, you don't want to become resentful at this woman, or even if you are, right? Because that's when you become angry, when you become resentful, it doesn't do you any favors, and it doesn't even do very well for your confidence and self-esteem. Because even if you are thinking like, oh yeah, I'm way better than her, she didn't deserve me at all, and things like that, you can sense there that there's also a slight insecurity, okay? Because you're being egotistical, right? And maybe even a little bit narcissistic, right? If you're thinking along those terms and you're getting angry and like, oh, I'm better than her, she doesn't deserve me, like, it's not going to help the situation at all. And it's not going to make you feel good about yourself in the long run, okay? Because I think we all know that if we look back with a bit of humility, that, you know, it wasn't always her fault, right? It wasn't always her fault. There were things that you could have done differently as well. So if you kind of have that kind of attitude and you think that way, then that starts putting you in the right direction. Because if you can work on those things, you can become better. So build your self-esteem in a healthy way. So you do that by doing the right thing, even if no one is looking, right? So when you're at work, always do the right thing, even if no one is looking. Always try your best, even when no one is looking. Do the right thing by your own personal standards, right? Do the right thing by your own code of ethics, basically. So, for example, perhaps you're someone that always takes action. Let's say you're someone that always takes action on exercise. Let's say you exercise every day or something like that. So when you don't do things like that, when you don't exercise every day, you feel bad about yourself, right? Because you're going against your own code of ethics, right? Or values, shall we say. Maybe values is a better word. So if you're going against your own values, you feel bad about yourself. You feel crappy about yourself. But if you're not, and you're living by your values, you feel good about yourself. You have self-esteem. You like yourself, okay? Because essentially, if you're getting really angry at women or this particular woman, chances are, because you have this bitterness, if you do have this bitterness, obviously, someone who's watching this may not have any sort of like angry attitude towards women, which is fine. But if you do, you got to realize that people who have a good self-esteem don't have that kind of attitude towards anybody. It doesn't matter what sex they are, right? People who have a high self-esteem and feel like they're going places in life don't have any sort of antagonistic feelings towards anybody, really, okay? That doesn't mean that they don't have arguments, they don't have disagreements with people, but they can easily let go of them when those things have been resolved. Or if it can't be resolved, they find a way to resolve it within themselves. So if you do have this sort of attitude where you're like, she doesn't deserve me, and you're just really angry, which a lot of people are, and it's understandable. It can be really frustrating, especially if you've been really unlucky when it comes to romance, right? It's very easy to become resentful towards the opposite sex or the same sex if you're into the same sex, right? But the point is that it's not going to make you feel good about yourself by dwelling on those feelings. What's going to make you feel good about yourself is if you feel like you're progressing in life. So you feel like you're taking action on your goals. You're, taking care of yourself in a healthy way. You're doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. You will feel better about yourself if you do those things. You will feel better about yourself. If you figure out where you want to be in 5 years' time and try to take action every day to get you towards those goals. And if you feel like you're progressing, you will feel good, right? So there's a quote by Viktor Frankl, and it goes, "When a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure." Okay, so basically what this means is if you're not working on your goals, if you haven't found something that you would like to strive for, then you're going to distract yourself with things like video games, other forms of pleasure, right? And you're not going to feel good about yourself. What's going to make you feel good about yourself is if you've got worthwhile goals that you've determined for yourself, that you would like to achieve, right? Things that you would really love to achieve in this life. And if you've got that, you've got a sense of meaning, right? And if you've got that, then you're going to feel better about yourself, especially if you're working towards that every single day. When you procrastinate, when you don't take any action, when you're just sitting around doing things that are just pleasurable and comforting, you're not going to feel good about yourself, and you're not going to feel strong, right? Because the way that you make yourself feel strong is essentially you put obstacles in your way, right? So you put obstacles in your way, and then you overcome those obstacles. So there could be, so an obstacle could be a goal, right? So you put these things voluntarily in front of you. And then once you start overcoming these obstacles, going over the hurdles, attacking those goals, conquering those goals, you're going to feel good about yourself, right? That will make you become stronger too, putting obstacles in front of yourself. Because the goal itself isn't that important, but it's who you have to become to achieve that goal that's important, okay? So then when you start doing things like that, it doesn't matter about this girl or this woman that you're thinking about right now. They no longer matter, because you've got other important things that you're getting on with, and you'll find that you'll attract new lovers into your life because you've now got this more ambitious outlook, right? Which is a really attractive quality, and you'll be attracting new people left, right, and center, new women left, right, and center. You'll be making new friends. You'll be meeting new lovers, right? And then this woman won't even matter anymore to you. It'll just be a distant memory, okay? So hopefully that's helped you. I hope you've managed to catch my drift and get my meaning. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.